Yo folks, and welcome to the channel. My name is Bork. In today's video, we'll be talking about my first impressions for Lost Ark, level 50 plus, Makoko Seeds, guides, and all that stuff. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. First things being, do I have to rush Lost Ark going from level 1 to level 50? Absolutely not. I feel like level 1 to 50 is like a single player experience where you can sort of take your time. And the only reason why you would even get to level 50 is because you want to experience like the actual dungeon and raiding content, and you want to be in like the top guilds or whatever. You want to be a competitive person, you know what I mean? But if you want a casual experience, you want to do life skilling. You just want to take your time and you want to experience what the story has to offer, which it has an immense amount because the character dialogue isn't the greatest, but the actual cutscenes, like what you're seeing right now, it's as epic as it feels as you're playing through the game, and it is unparalleled in that experience. Now, what stands out to me for Lost Ark above anything else is the way it sort of presents the characters and the way the gameplay sort of feels. A lot of people would want to compare this to something like Diablo or an auto MMORPG. Just note, there is no auto MMO. Like, in as far as like customization goes, Path of Exile and Diablo are a lot more freeing. Just note that you can like sort of integrate your skills and change them whenever you want, so as you please. But there are definitely builds where you sort of have to commit, and not to mention you can't just change your classes like the way you can in like Final Fantasy, you know, the latest one. But when it comes to this, there's so much flexibility as far as the individual character that you can create, and not to mention once you get to level 51, you can create another set of like level 50s where you can play them as alts. And some people were like, alts are super necessary. They are, but mostly so that you can feed your main account with more resources. So in that sense, you would definitely want to do that. And just note, like the level 50s, as of the recording of this video, they're like all free after you do it once. All you have to do is get to North Vern, which is a different continent. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. And then when it comes to like the content, like the raids, level 50 plus, it really takes it to the next level of when you felt epic in the story and you were fighting like hundreds, if not thousands of mobs on the screen. You will get the experience of feeling like a god. That's what Lost Ark gave me. A lot of MMOs let me sort of take their time before I feel that. I was watching like S-Fan, he's like one of like, you know, the top Twitch streamers and stuff, and he was talking about how the progression in Lost Ark, it feels a little wonky because you feel overpowered from the very beginning. But what I will say is when you jump into this game, it really feels like you are slowly getting better, and then at level 50, everything just gets thrown like out of whack because the game becomes insanely harder. Like the bosses will hit much harder. Everything about like the character dynamics, it feels like you don't know what you're doing. Like level 50 feels like the game just started because you get like this engraving system. Not to mention you have to start doing like ability stones. You actually have to pay attention to what stats you have. You start like running into players more often. The game completely changes in the sense of, instead of it being more of a story, now it's more focused around like gear progression, like what you sort of want to focus into the game. You want to do life skills, you want to start making potions, and potions are extremely important, like selling stuff on the auction house, getting gold. It's a very finite resources. You can participate in like the PvP. I was blown away. One of my favorite experiences was like just going onto an island, and I didn't know what it was. It's like a level 50 plus thing, and I had to start killing players in order to do like my dailies, and it was just so random, and it made me fall in love with PvP, which I usually don't like. But oh my goodness, this game has so much stuff to offer. I cannot explain how many times I was just like left like with my mouth open, and I was just like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm playing this game, or holy crap, I can't believe that just happened, or oh my god, that cutscene was beautiful, or like, my goodness, I can't believe they put this in this game. Like, there was so many moments where I was just like, is this really happening? And I cannot implore you to the fact that once you just at least get from 1 to 50, that experience alone is worth like the free-to-play experience. Like, you do not have to spend any money whatsoever, and you know, just I would say this is one of the best single player campaigns I've ever played in my entire life. And not to mention the fact that sometimes you can experience it with other people. You can see people like on the map and sort of interact with them. That's what really sealed the deal for me. But Anyways, my first impressions with Lost Ark, it's like nothing but praise. It's everything that I would want from an MMO because of all the different interactions, like the hidden areas that you can sort of see as you're going through the gameplay, the parts where you're just like, did anyone else sort of discover this? Not to mention the achievement system coupled with the Steam achievement system. You get to sort of feel like it's not just an MMO. Because I know I'm one of those MMO players where I don't care if I get to play with other people. No offense. I like to run things solo, and I want to see if this game can actually be fun without having to, talk to people all the time. I know the point of an MMO is to talk to people, get to know everyone. Yeah, you can totally do that, and you can see it within the chat, but you can turn it off and have one of the best single player experiences ever sort of seen in any MMO whatsoever. The scale, the epicness, it's everything that I wanted and more. And I'm no-lifing this game. I'm sorry I can't post too much on YouTube, but this game has completely taken over how I feel and how I see like MMOs and the grading system that I sort of have for games in general. Let's go ahead and jump into like the guide portions. And the thing is, when it comes to like Makoko Seeds and stuff, there's gonna be sites like this, Lost Ark Codex, where essentially, let's say right now you're in North Vern and you're like, hey, where are the Makoko Seeds at? And then you go into like the castle area, by the way, spoilers and stuff of how the map looks, and then it'll show you a location of where that Makoko seed is. A lot of you guys will start in East Lutera, and let's say you get to the East Lutera castle, you get to sort of see like where the Makoko seeds are. So in case you sort of want to get an idea of where certain things are, you can just go ahead and jump onto this website, go into the correct continent and input like sort of the area that you're in, and it'll tell you like where the Makoko seeds are. And not to mention on the map, there'll be an indicator of where Makoko seeds are. Next thing being is Saint Tone's guide. He is absolutely amazing. There's so much information. I was also checking out Mal's guide on like builds for different characters. Like let's say you want to run Paladin and you're looking for like a skill build, or here's one. Let's say you want to run Striker and you're like, oh, what essentially do I put? There's all sorts of builds here and I highly recommend it. There's even like a tier list. Just note this is all based off of leveling. So it's not really a sense of like, hey, this character is really good for like all these purposes. You can see what they're good at for leveling specifically, but I wouldn't say like they're the best of class, but Gunslinger, really like high skill cap character. Not to mention on Twitch, if you watch certain people, there'll be drops enabled where you get like free hats and free like starter items. I'm watching Zeals right now. I'm also watching FG play. And then I also have like my own Discord in case you want more resources. We're talking about the game, we're chatting about it, we're sending memes and everything because we're essentially just waiting for the game to come out. That's why I'm doing the first impressions right now. But when it comes to like level 50, here's going to be the immense progression. Once you hit it, you're only doing orange quests at the very beginning, and then stick to your blue quests. One of the biggest mistakes I did was jumping into like the island quests. These are like the island quests or the limited time events, and I started going ham on those. No, the most important thing is you keep doing the story quest, and then you start farming materials, and you essentially go from there. The North Vern quest is just another set of blue quests. So as long as you're sort of following this sort of metric, you'll be really good. But there's so many things that you can follow. I created like a waifu sort of thing that I'm keeping track of, not to mention like a sort of waifu tier list that I'm keeping on my own. I'm keeping like beginner tips on like, hey, you can also do this for progression where you start farming engravings where you jump from island to island. You're like island hopping. You're getting like more of a feel for the game. I even have like links and stuff. I'll leave this Google spreadsheet. But honestly, you should really use something like Saint Tones because Lost Ark FAQ, that one was really useful. Or, Mal's guide on like builds and stuff in order to progress early game. Or just watching streamers like Zeals so you can get like the inventory packs. I have so much fun with this game. It really feels like a lived experience. But most of all, Black Fang, she's like the best waifu. Not to mention, you can recruit her for your ship. So that's going to be something that I want to work on. But in the end, when it comes to Lost Ark, what I feel about it and how I get like a experience of it, it just seems like a really grand single player campaign where you can essentially experience it with other people if you choose to do so. Like the game feels very alive. There's so many side quests, there's so many hidden stories, there's so many aspects where you didn't think there would be something happening. Like there's references to movies happening at a constant pace. And if you can sort of actually get a feel of like the actual story versus the parts where it's like, oh, I'm going to focus on gear, I'm going to focus on, being the best player ever. Lost Ark feels alive. That's what I want from an MMO. The characters are actual characters. They're not like blank face NPCs. I'm not gonna say every single part of Lost Ark felt amazing and like the characters are not generic. No, what I'm saying is that you can get so much out of this game just walking around the world and just seeing what the game has to offer without being tied to progression systems and guides, because it's all about just seeing where the story sort of takes you and meeting the people along your journey. What Lost Ark did for me was it showed me a love for video games that I thought I lost, and it let me like sort of experience the game in a sense of, oh yeah, this is how video games are supposed to feel. It feels like it's bigger than life, and there's so many things that you can do. It's an endless amount of content. Is it all sunshines and rainbows for Lost Ark? Absolutely not. But the thing that sticks out to me the most was how I felt just sort of experiencing the game and all the different characters that I met along the way. And you know, the people that, as far as like the actual MMO experience and talking to people, that could do some work. And like the part where you can like actually tell how you're supposed to be progressing and leveling up, that could do some work. But you know, just watch some guides and stuff and everything will go well. I had a lot of fun. I can't wait for you to actually experience this game as a free-to-play. You know, download a VPN. If I know in Southeast Asia region, some regions you guys can't play it, but just experiencing the single-player campaign is so good. And the fact that they, you know, have a different narrative, a different directive like structure, it is amazing. But anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Once we hit 30,000 subs, we're doing a giveaway. Enjoy your time in Lost Ark. Push level 50 until you really have to. But anyways, have yourself a fantastic day and see you guys in the next one.